Right, welcome to the season finale review, spoiler review for The Mandalorian. Oh my god, what a fantastic episode this was. This is Taika Waititi's directorial debut in the world of Star Wars, and you could really tell that it was from him. But also, not only that, it had staggering cinematography outside of his normal kind of scope, and I was really, really impressed. Initially, having said, oh, you could tell it was him, I actually didn't know it was him. I didn't bother to look into it, because I like the fact it's a surprise at the end. I like to know whether it's Dave Filoni, maybe Jon Favreau's come into the mix, who knows? I like that surprise, and I like to kind of guess as we go along. And I actually didn't think Taika Waititi would direct one of these episodes, but apparently he did, and it was fantastic. We open with what I guess you could say is very Taika Waititi, comedic elements. The two stormtroopers at the end of the last episode, they've got the baby, and we can see it here. He's having a blast. He's loving life. Well, he's not. He's in a bag. And they obviously taken him to the outskirts of the town to wait for to be signaled to come into the town. Now they have some epic banter. Discussing things between the two of them. It's really, really funny. Played by some pretty key roles. Well, I say key roles, some pretty key actors. You've got Adam Pally and Jason Sudeikis, or yes, that is how you pronounce that name. Both of them are the two stormtroopers, and the banter between them was very, very funny, very well scripted. And there's some not dialogue, but some action pieces that are very well scripted between the two of them. They start, as they're waiting for the signal to get back into town, they're shooting an inanimate object, and they simply can't hit it. And it's very, very funny commentary on stormtroopers not being able to hit anything and just being the worst shots ever. It was very, very good. Now, in that interaction, we actually get some very sinister dialogue. We learn that Moff Gideon is happy to kill people. He killed all the troops that were there anyway. He has then just murdered another troop just because he was interrupted. We learn how Moff Gideon is someone that you just do not mess with. And then we have our saviour of the day. Oh yes, IG-11 is back. Taika Waititi, again, playing the role of IG-11. And he then enters into his programming because he was reprogrammed to be a nurse droid, and he takes the baby Yoda, whatever we're still calling him, we don't know yet. And there's some really great interaction there, some great action pieces as well. To see the IG-11 do hand-to-hand combat is something which I think a lot of people have probably thought, oh yeah, that'd be great to see. But we've not actually seen it yet. We've seen him do all the gunslinging. But him in hand-to-hand combat was fantastic. God damn, it was so good. And again, some really, really, really great camera angles. The editing was great. It was just very well choreographed. Great CG. It's just so good. I love this show. To everyone that keeps saying I'm negative, my God, every week you keep getting a good review for the past 8 weeks now. I love this program so very much. Now, from there, obviously, they're still trapped inside our main heroes, Mandalore, Din Djarin, I think his name was. That's what we got. We've got Gina Carano's Cara Dune. She's still there. And Carl Weathers. The name slipped past. I actually completely forget his name now. But they're all there, basically. And they're still trying to get away. They're trying to get out, figure a way out. We get some great expansions to the lore. An E.B. Weber or something like that. A massive... Basically, it's like a submachine gun or a machine gun, which the Imperial troops have. Moff Gideon reveals to everyone that he knows exactly who they are, and then that's when we know that the Mandalorian is well aware of who this is and says, yeah, no, it's Moff Gideon, and replays a really nice tale. It expands upon all the flashbacks that we'd had before, actually. It just expands upon it. It's played out for a lot longer, and the action sequence there, as we see child Mandalorian being put into a sort of basement trap by his parents before they obviously get killed. We see the whole thing play out. The droids, the battle droids, were very well done. Really nicely done. The composition of them on screen is great. The shading of them, again, is fantastic. It all just looks perfect. I can't stress that enough. It gels so very, very well. And it's funny because, you see some movies and things like that. They can't blend live action with CG so well, but in this they've managed to do it. And this is a TV show for all intents and purposes. We see how that pans out a little bit further and further and further. We see how the Mandalorians came and saved him, and obviously blasted off into the sky and stuff like that. Really, really nice pieces. An interesting throwback as well, I think, is that you can see the colorations of these Mandalorians was somewhat reminiscent. I mean, it's not identical, but somewhat reminiscent to Boba Fett. I did think for 1 second, I was like, are they going to do a Boba Fett cameo here? Maybe. Technically, he's not actually a Mandalorian, but maybe. Who knows? They didn't. Again, spoiler alert, I guess. Although this is a spoiler review. And it was really, really nice. Really, really cool. They obviously need to figure a way out of this trap. But who comes in just in the nick of time? IG-11. And again, just the way that they have written this robot to just the spinning around, the action choreography of this robot, because obviously it's kind of limitless. Like, what can you do with it? Well, like, literally anything you can imagine, but they've imagined it in a way which is cohesive and it makes sense and you can believe it in this universe. He's not just doing anything, but the stuff that he does do is very believable and it's very, very well done. So obviously he takes out numerous stormtroopers. Mandalorian gets hit, and they're dragged back inside. Everyone's back inside, protected, trying to get a way out again down to the sewers. Now, the interaction between, because it's called Redemption, and obviously this is the redemption of the robot, droids and things like that in the Mandalorian's life, and it's really, really nice, actually. There's some touching moments in this whole episode. So the Mandalorian suffered a massive blow to the head. In fact, he's got brain damage, or has had a brain injury, because there's an interaction with IG-11. He tells everyone else to leave, and IG-11 is like, I'm going to have to take this off you, i.e. the helmet. And the Mandalorian's like, no living thing has seen me. He's like, well, I'm not alive. Takes the mask off. And yes, it is Pedro Pascal, although we do know now that he's not in the show at all times. But it's nice to see him. A lot of people were very concerned that Disney were going to hoodwink us and have like some lady in there or some nonsense like that. Whatever. What are you going to complain about now? It was Pedro Pascal. You might as well get on board and actually say that this is a good program, because it is a good program. Anyway, from there, he puts like some Bacta spray on him, and like I said, there's a very humorous interaction where he's like, your processing unit has been damaged, and he's like, you mean my brain? He's like, yes, that was intended as a joke. It was supposed to take your mind off of it, or something like this. It was very, very funny. There was some genuine laugh out loud moments throughout this episode, like the part of Baby Yoda like screaming, enjoying being on the speeder bike. It's very, very funny moments in this. Very, very funny moments. And I liked that Taika Waititi did this as the last episode. I think having him in the first few ones wouldn't have worked out so well. I think they've managed to build it up so well. We've had some good times, some bad times, some good times, and then they've had the last few episodes have been quite down. There's been comedic moments and things like that, but there's been a lot of risk and threat and danger to then end with Taika Waititi's flavorful comedy. I think is a work of great strategy, and I can't wait for the second season now. This is just staggering. So anyway, they escape down to the sewers. Obviously, who's down there? Well, the cohort of the Mandalores, and they're not actually there anymore. It's just the lone woman. I can't remember, what would we call her? Armor. She's like a blacksmith, I guess. A Mandalorian gets given the jetpack. He restocks munitions. They say go. He says no, come with us. She says go. Which obviously leads to a really, really cool interaction with stormtroopers coming in, surrounding her. She's there, crossed arms, two weapons, not weapons, but blacksmith tools. And absolutely beats the living shit out of these stormtroopers. So good. Very, very well done. Yeah, really enjoyed that. You get to see bits of their white plastic outfits, armor, flying off. Was very, very nice. Really, really well done. Then from there, They manage to find like some lava flow, some lava river, some boat thing, and they go down. And this is what leads us to a very, very touching moment, because at the end of the lava flow, as they come out and they can obviously escape, there's a whole troop, a whole platoon of stormtroopers. And IG-11's like, well, look, let me, serve my base programming, my manufacturer's programming. I can't be captured, therefore I will be destroyed. I will self-destruct. And the Mandalorian's like, no, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. IG-11, very, very touching, is like, no, you don't need to be sad. As long as the kid is safe, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, I'm not sad. It's like, I am a nurse droid. I have analysed your voice. You are sad. And again, like, it's touching, but it's funny. And I think a lot of people will be able to resonate with this kind of comedy. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Genuinely enjoy it. And then obviously he comes out, blows up. He's dead. He's gone. Taika Waititi's IG-11's no more. And this is what leads us to probably the most surprising element of this this episode. So Moff Gideon is still alive, and he blasts them. He comes down in his TIE fighter and he starts blasting them. Now, the Mandalorian obviously has got a new jetpack, so he blasts up, tags onto him with some grappling hook and puts a grenade on one of the wings. And it blows up, right? The TIE fighter crash lands. It doesn't explode, but it crash lands. So I thought instantly, definitely still alive. Of course he is. Of course he is. Mandalorian takes the kid, who has now been dubbed his foundling. He is essentially his father. His mission now is to return the asset, the child, to his species. So I think that's probably what the next season will be all about, which I'm really looking forward to. So he takes off, and as we close, we get a very noticeably dark blade come through the hull of the TIE fighter. And Moff Gideon has the Darksaber. Yes, he has the Darksaber from Clone Wars. Amazingly. Which ties in an awful lot of lore and an awful lot of history to the Mandalorian. Now, not only is the Darksaber very iconic with Clone Wars and things like that, but it was I've got the Wikipedia bit up here. The Darksaber itself is actually enshrined in kind of Mandalorian lore as well, being that it was Vizsla who created the Darksaber, who was the first Mandalorian to be indoctrinated into the Jedi Order. So we're going way round in circles now. So who Moff Gideon is, how he's got the Darksaber, nobody knows. Well, obviously some people do. But I've got no idea. And it just makes me really, really intrigued to see this moving forwards. Yeah. I'm really, really, really intrigued. I love this show. It's just a weekly highlight for me. I watch it. I sit on my couch with my dog. With my dog. And I love this show. I genuinely love this show. So I'd love to hear what you think about this, whether you've seen this episode or if you haven't. What did you think? Did you like Taika Waititi's direction? And one of the key cinematography aspects, which I just absolutely loved, and I was genuinely blown away by it, was the closing shot of Din Djarin, so the Mandalorian, burying Queel, the Ugnaught, and the sun beaming down, his ship in the background, and as he walks back to his ship. That is a beautiful shot. Very, very beautiful. And interestingly enough, is kind of reminiscent. So the closing shot is kind of reminiscent to some of the opening shots that we've had, and also the opening poster shot which we had. So I love this show. I like everything that they're doing with it. I don't think, I just can't see it being bad in season 2. I mean, look, it's Disney, so maybe, but this is a great show. You have to watch it. If you haven't, watch it. It's great. It's hard for people to deny now that it is very, very good, and it is very good. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Please do let me know down below in the comments. If you like Star Wars and you liked my Rise of Skywalker review, we've got Pickled Snoke merch underneath every single video. Go and check it out. You will really, really like that design. It's one of my favourites that I've ever produced for merchandise for the channel. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Mr. H. Take care.